Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Running on Scuffs. Ryan, it's always great to have you back. Already tuning in. A Halloween special. How crazy is this, guys? We've got a our first ever holiday episode of Running on Scuffs here on Halloween night. Let's go ahead and we've got a lot to talk about. We've got a crazy weekend of racing to go through. We have another crazy championship weekend of racing to get to, and we have a special guest tonight. So let's go ahead and get some introductions going. Starting off with our witchy producer, Peyton. How you doing tonight, ma'am?
It doesn't matter how I'm doing. Have you guys seen Logan?
Yeah, Logan is doing. He kind of looks like a clown, to be honest. Like,
Well, some would say I am the class clown around this joint, and I'm damn proud to be it. There's just nobody wiser, nobody funnier than yours truly. And Peter, I'm so sorry. I know that you had to break out your broom because, Blaney broke out the choke. It happens. It's the way it goes. He gave it all he had. Second place. That's tough. But go ahead and ring that bell, Peter. How you feeling? How you feeling? You guy. Mr. Good Looking is not good looking enough to hoist that championship. It's like Thor's hammer or something. How you
Let
feeling?
me know when old Eric Stinky Jones makes it to the playoffs.
First of all, don't besmirch the good damn name of Eric Jones. Let's not do that, all right? Let's not do that. And for all we know,
well,
he smells delightful.
I'll tell you what. It seems as though the power couple have a few things to get off their chest this weekend, but we're going to hold off on that for a little bit. Zach, it's been a tough weekend for you. How are you doing tonight, buddy?
No more fitting holiday than to relive what happened to me yesterday. Denny Hamlin and I on an island of our own, in solidarity
Sorry, I'm
and
sorry.
fear.
Let me mute myself.
Go ahead, Zach.
Yeah, just hopefully Ross Chastain doesn't come and knock down my wall.
Well, you never know. We've got he makes moves that people never thought would be able to be made. But it's great to have everybody here on our show tonight. But we're not quite done with our introductions because we have a special guest joining us this evening for our show tonight. You guys may have heard of her. She is the host of Above the Yellow Line, a part of the TobyChristie.com. And her face is actually going to be on a race car this weekend, in case you guys didn't know that. Ladies and gentlemen, allow us to introduce the host of Above the Yellow Line, Taylor Kitchen.
Hey, what's up? Hi.
Taylor, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Wonderful. Glad to have you with us. It's going to be a wild ride. I hope you're ready for it.
Oh gosh, I think I am. I think so. I've had you two debate before. We've had debates with you. I don't know about you and Logan though. So we'll have to see. I've heard it gets rough. I heard it gets a little rough, so we're ready.
Just a little bit. We try to keep it a little tame for people, but sometimes these two tend to go off the rails. So we'll see about tonight. I don't think it's a full moon tonight, so maybe we'll be able to hold them in check. But ladies and gentlemen, we've got a crazy weekend of racing to get through. Ryan with the comment, steer clear of Logan. Yeah, already warning. Logan, what are your thoughts? She's already being warned about you.
Well, I got my reputation may precede me, but I don't bite unless you're into that sort of thing, and it is Halloween after all, so God knows. God knows what may happen, but let me just say, don't believe the hype, especially from Ryan. God, Ryan, go away, damn it. Okay, sorry.
No, don't go away. We need the views. We need the viewership. That's why we're here.
That's fair. Sorry, my hatred got the best of me.
Well, you are Pennywise. You look all cute and cuddly, and then you bite someone's arm off. So
I'm the fat boy that Pennywise was talking about. That's how that goes.
Already off to a crazy start tonight. Well, all right. Let's go ahead and get into this. We've got a crazy weekend of racing, and we only had 2 races. We didn't even have all 3 series at Martinsville this past weekend, but certainly no lack of action on track. So Peyton, why don't you go ahead and hit us with a race review, and we'll get into that. I love the old school style there. We should have come up with Halloween themes of our segment things. That might have been a little too much on Peyton if we did that.
Just keep replaying Ty Gibbs, and that is scary enough.
Nothing spookier than that. But next year, Justin, we got to have something to shoot for.
Hey, we're always looking to get better. We're going to get on with well, I guess we'll start with the Xfinity race. Championship 4 implications on the line. Brandon Jones started on the pole and really was able kind of up there towards the front most of the day, had a shot at getting a win and advancing to the Championship 4, and wasn't able to get it done. Why was that again, Zach?
Man, Ty Gibbs. I commend Ty Gibbs for wanting to win. 100% for sure. 100% effort, 0% brain, and negative 100% teammate. Let me tell you, if Ty Gibbs and I were stuck on an island, he would for sure send me off out into the ocean, cut me up into pieces, and feed me to the sharks, because that's who he is. But it's okay, because according to Ty Gibbs, Jesus also did it, I'm sure.
Yeah, certainly. Certainly a bit of an interesting comment from Ty Gibbs afterwards. He certainly didn't seem to have any remorse for the move he made there. Zach, you and I both have drivers that unofficially are going to be teammates with Ty Gibbs next year. So how do you feel knowing that, Ty Gibbs might be in the 18 car?
Duck and cover, hide your bumpers. We are... Y'all remember that skit when that dude's like, hide your wife, hide your kids, because they, doing everybody out here? Hide yourselves, hide your seatbelts, hide your cars, because Ty Gibbs is wrecking everybody. And, as long as his last name is Gibbs, he's going to get away with it as far as Joe is concerned, it seems like. Which is even more alarming. Good Lord knows what he is going to be capable of next year when he finds out these next-gen cars apparently do not wreck. Do not wreck the same way that the Xfinity cars do.
Yeah, that's true. We hope we don't see any kind of craziness with the next gen car, unless they can get. We don't want to put any drivers in danger anyway, but especially with the safety concerns of this car. But yeah, so that was interesting. Nonetheless, Ty Gibbs went on to win the Martinsville race. The other drivers that joined Ty Gibbs in the Championship 4, Josh Berry, who was able to win his way in at Las Vegas, Noah Gragson with a win at Homestead, and Justin Allgaier. So now 3 junior motorsports drivers joining Ty Gibbs in Phoenix for the championship race. Taylor, I want to get your thoughts on the Martinsville Xfinity race, the Ty Gibbs move. What were your thoughts after that race?
Oh, I've made it known I'm not a fan. I just don't know where Ty Gibbs, where his head is at sometimes. He has immense talent. Don't get me wrong. He has immense talent. He's going places, I understand. But that doesn't give you a right to run people like crap every single weekend. He's made some strides, and then he goes right back to square one. I think, as you mentioned, he's going to Cup, presumably, I guess, words, next year. I feel like somebody's going to put him in his place real fast, and I hope that's the case, because we don't want him hurting anybody, as you said. Also, there's a line of respect that has to be had, and he hasn't earned that yet. And he certainly has lost that, in my opinion, for me and for a lot of fans out there. I hate it for Brandon Jones. I did think this through for Ty Gibbs' sake, at least, just something that might have been going through his head. One, trophy hunting. We talked about this, or you mentioned it, wanting to go for a win. Another thing is, if there are 3 junior motorsports guys versus 1 Joe Gibbs guy, that means that their resources are split. Their time is split, trying to get them the best things possible during the week. For Ty Gibbs, it is simply him and only him at Joe Gibbs Racing getting all the attention to get that best car possible for Phoenix. If Brandon Jones was in, they'd be splitting those resources. So obviously in the moment, I do not think that was going through his head at all. Maybe it was, but that's another thing in defense of Ty Gibbs. But I'm not a fan of it. And they said they deal with it internally. I don't know how much more of that they can do until something actually happens to get Ty Gibbs in the right direction, but not a fan.
Yeah, NASCAR did come away afterwards and say that they were not going to pursue any sort of penalty for Ty Gibbs with that scenario. So both Joe Gibbs and Coy Gibbs, his father and team president, as well as Joe Gibbs, the owner and grandfather, did express their displeasure of his move. I got to ask you though, Logan, about the personality. What does this do for Ty Gibbs? I mean, it's kind of fitting that he's going to take over the 18, right? Like,
well, you see, it makes sense. I can continue to have a passion against the 18. I was beginning to wonder there if I was going to be okay with that car, but if I'm being fair, if I'm being objective, and that's hard for me to do some days, but to some extent, look, every sport needs a heel, right? We need a bad guy. We need someone to root for. And let's be honest. Let's be fair. Kyle Busch has suddenly behaved himself. He might be broken. I don't know. Lately, he's been almost downright chipper during arguably the worst season of his career. So maybe the torch is being passed. Some have said Noah Gragson, but Ty Gibbs has said, "Hold my juice box and let's eat." Because no, I don't understand, especially. And then he took it at an extra step level by bringing in our Lord and Savior, and I don't mean Jesus.
Can't even with that.
That was stunning. The only thing I'll say again, objectively, is it gets people talking, and the whole sport needs that, and certainly the Xfinity Series needs that. So I don't like the move. I don't condone the actions, but it says something that we're talking about it, because how often are we paying attention to the Xfinity Series? Before this, it was Noah Gragson. But, names are made here is the quote-unquote slogan, but it's been a long time since we've seen this much personality, good and bad. So to be fair, as much as I don't like it, it gives us something to talk about.
Yeah, I agree with you. David, thank you for being here, watching us. We appreciate all the love and support from everybody watching. Be sure to comment your thoughts. We'll be posting some of your comments on the show. And getting y'all's thoughts on the action. It's funny you mentioned Kyle Busch, Logan, with Kyle Busch acting chipper. I think there are two drivers at Joe Gibbs Racing for probably two separate reasons. Kyle Busch, of course, being that he's leaving at the end of the season, but I think there's two drivers, the 18 and the 19, that are just ready for this season to be over. That I think both of them have pretty much expressed that they're just ready to get to the off season. Martin Truex Jr. is just ready to get out on a lake somewhere and go fishing. And Kyle Busch is ready to get over to RCR, I think. And that was proven by our Cup race. So we'll go ahead and get into our Cup race preview or review, shall I say. We had a lot of, if the Ty Gibbs scenario, if we thought it couldn't be topped by anything in the Cup series, all I'm going to say is, what did we just witness in the Cup race?
I'm seeing, okay, I heard some sighs. So I need to know from Logan and Zach why the sighs. But we witnessed greatness, in my opinion.
I think we know why Zach is sighing.
that whole sigh, that was all Zach, and it wasn't enough for two people. Usually I'm enough for two people, but that's how disheartened Zach is, and I understand your pain, but we'll get into it.
Yeah,
I instantly thought of Mike Joy and DW. Have you ever? No, I never.
I wish I didn't. I wish I didn't. This is not it, folks. I need to stop before I just go off on the rails, but oh boy.
Just a little longer, buddy. Just a little longer, and we'll bring hell, I promise you.
Logan, you and I have been league racing together for a while now. Yeah. Why have you never tried that? Why? I mean,
well, damn it, NASCAR Heat's got those invisible walls on Martinsville, and you spin every time. I mean, believe me, I've given it all I've got, Captain, because I'm not getting by on pure talent with you. I'm trying everything I can do. I'm trying to hack. I'm trying to rig, whatever I can do, and unfortunately, those invisible walls at Martinsville get me every time.
Well, I'm glad that I can show off my greatness at something at least.
It's your humbleness I appreciate the most.
Well, beat me on track, and we can go with that later. I gave you your moment.
We're supposed to behave ourselves. There's a guest. Don't embarrass me.
No, it was a crazy race. I do want to mention Kyle Busch though, because Kyle Busch was riding around, like I say riding around. He was like 5 or 6 laps down before the end of stage 1. I mean,
DJ McLeod, is that you?
He was protesting the company. He was protesting the company.
I don't blame him.
Taylor, for your sake, since your picture is going to be on the car next weekend in Phoenix, I hope that they show some coverage for Kyle Busch simply for the fact that it is his last race in the 18, because I don't think his performance is going to get him there.
Now, and I would have to say, I mean, it's such a shame that, Samantha Bush has tweeted about this. Kyle has. Everyone's tweeted about it under the sun, but he's done so much for Toyota, so much for Joe Gibbs, made them, champions more than they were. I mean, he made that team and that manufacturer. It is a shame that they are giving him such crappy equipment and aren't really treating him like the champion he is as he's going out, in my opinion. I hope they give him a great car for Phoenix. I hope he's able to finish on the lead lap at Phoenix. But I just don't know where it went wrong. I don't know if he gave up, but obviously he hasn't, because he's excited for the future. I think he has good things ahead at RCR. But it's going to be the end of an era. It's not going to be the same in the end of an era for Mars. So I'm going to miss that sponsor. Not going to lie. Every single weekend. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. Hopefully they give him a good car.
Yeah, I think definitely some rumors about who's going to be sponsoring. Kyle Busch kind of flirted with a sponsorship with Sling potentially on Twitter. That was kind of fun to watch. At the very least, he was able to get some money for his foundation out of it. Mama Seeger, she's watching. He did kind of look like he could have cared less about being out there.
Did my heart such joy? Such joy. Such joy. Look at him back there, just back marking it. God, it was beautiful.
And I will say with that sponsorship, though, that they talked about, got to give a shout out to Lefty, one of the best designers, in my opinion, of cars out there.
Yeah.
Designed like a prototype paint scheme with Sling. And I'm like, all right, maybe we'll see that next year. So that was hopeful for Kyle Busch for 2020.
He got that out way too soon and looked way too good.
That's just Lefty. Noah Sweet. He's fantastic.
I am Taylor. No, I am not trying to break news. I do not know news. But that was incredibly quick and incredibly well done. I would not be surprised if this is already a done deal and this is all promo. Because, listen, they specifically tagged Lefty in that. He did not, find the comment. They tagged him. So I kind of think he already did it. This is a done deal. And we're just going to wait. And, in the middle of December, in the middle of, all of us hibernating away from the sport, we're going to be like, ta-da, here's our Sling car for next year. See if it rides the wall like Ross did.
I appreciate you transitioning into that, Zach. That was, aside from Kyle Busch running in the back, we did have a championship 4 battle going on. Before we get into this crazy move with Ross Chastain, because this was overshadowed a lot because of the Chastain move. How about Christopher Bell being able to? He had to win 2 rounds in a row. Talk about clutch. He was able to win at the Roval to get into the round of 8, and now he's able to win at Martinsville to get himself into the championship 4. Logan, what about the move by Christopher Bell getting into the Final 4?
You talk about Big Bell energy. He's bringing it. I mean, he's bringing it. That's Mr. Walk-Off. That's what we ought to call him, because we want Game 7 moments. That's what NASCAR wants, right? That is Game 7 moments. We saw it at the Roval, got it done again. And he said, again, I'll say hold my juice box, because he doesn't even look like he's shaving yet, because it's incredible. It completely got overshadowed by Ross Chastain going, you know what? I'm not breaking. But it's incredible the fact of, because let's be honest, when we think Martinsville, no disrespect to C-Bell, we don't think C-Bell. I mean, it wasn't that long ago where we were beginning to wonder, does C-Bell and the 20 kind of work, or is it another failed experiment? Because the 20's been a bit of a revolving door since Matt Kenseth was impolitely shown the door at Gibbs. We were starting to wonder, and now all of a sudden he's found ice water in his veins and is a contender every single week, and he's in the championship 4. And credit to you, Zach. You said going to the Final 4. And I could have laughed you out of this whole podcast because I just didn't see it. But yeah, I mean, he's got the, this episode's called Clutch, right? That's serious clutch. At the end of the day, he can compete with anybody, and he's proved that on a big time level because he's overall competing with. I mean, we just talked about where Kyle Busch is at right now, and we talked about where Martin Truex is at right now, and we talk about Denny Hamlin. Those are 3 Hall of Famers, and right now he's outshining them all. So that's all you need. And when you put him against the wall, he knows how to come through and come through cleanly at that. That's incredible, and it's good for the sport and it makes NASCAR look like geniuses because Game 7 moments are happening, and like I said, C-Bell is Mr. Walk-Off.
And one thing that I think, a lot of people, we get lost in the Chastain incident. The Chastain moves, if Christopher Bell or Chase Briscoe, because they were up there, or Blaney or Byron, if one of those drivers wasn't in the lead, the Chastain moves makes no difference. I mean, yeah, it's a cool move, and it'd be fun for the highlight reel, but it was Christopher Bell being in the lead that made the Chastain move really is what made it happen, because Chastain could have finished 10th if a non-playoff driver or a already winning playoff driver were to have won that race. It was, so Christopher Bell inadvertently kind of created the Chastain move, which we're about to talk about. Zach, I'm going to let you think about it here for a little bit, because I don't want you to say anything that I'm going to have to go and cut out of this podcast.
There's nothing you're going to have to edit or cut out. I am content enough. Listen, for those of us that don't appreciate the move or love Denny Hamlin, which is myself and Denny Hamlin probably, listen, it is the ultimate respect move by Ross Chastain. Denny Hamlin was so good, so great all day Sunday in Martinsville that Ross Chastain had to do it. There is no other option for him because Denny shut every other door than the absolute thing we've never seen before. And that should be commended for. Denny Hamlin played a part in that move working too. And that is about as positive as I can speak for Denny Hamlin.
I pick on you a lot, Zach, but I told you, I talked to you privately after the race yesterday, and I said Denny Hamlin did everything right. He did everything he needed to do. He won both stages, and he was in the right position. He did exactly what he needed to do. At the end of the day, I just don't think anybody saw that coming from Ross Chastain. Taylor, I want to get your thoughts on what did we just see from Ross Chastain and Trackhouse?
I mean, in my opinion, it was greatness. I'm not the biggest Ross Chastain fan. I like him a lot, but I'm also kind of weary of him. But I think nobody else would have thought of that but Ross. And to be fair to his credit, after the race, Denny Hamlin was pretty impressed by the move. He's like, that was kind of cool, or like, that was fantastic. Even Kevin Harvick on Twitter said that was an epic moment. Other drivers, if you heard, I don't know, NASCAR on Twitter posted like the driver reaction comments, and a lot of them were pretty stunned. We also heard drivers that were like, this is an embarrassment, yada, yada, yada. I understand it. But in my opinion, I thought that was fantastic. It's fantastic press for the sport as well. I mean, the video that NASCAR posted has over like 7 million views. All sports outlets are talking about it. It's made mainstream media, which is huge. Though I don't want to see this move happening every single race. I think that's the thing that NASCAR needs to be careful with. I do not think there needs to be like specific regulation for it necessarily, but gosh, it was so cool, and it's going to be something we watch next year, the year after that, every highlight reel for the next like 50 years, 100 years, however long NASCAR's around, we're going to be watching it. So kudos to Ross Chastain, Trackhouse, for getting into the championship fight against 3 powerhouse teams. It's pretty cool. So congrats to them.
Yeah, it was a pretty cool move to watch. Joining Chastain in the championship for, as of course, Christopher Bell winning at Martinsville, Joey Logano with his win at Vegas, and of course Chase Elliott, the regular season champion, all going to Phoenix to fight for a championship. We're going to be getting into our championship picks a little bit later in the show. So I hope you guys are ready for that. We're going to have a fun championship pick segment. But before we get into that, it is Halloween, and it would be remiss if we didn't try to find something fun to do for Halloween. And for everyone watching, I asked everyone on the show tonight to pick a paint scheme from NASCAR, whether it be current or from the past, and to find a spooky scheme, if you will, to show off for you here tonight. So, Peyton, we've got a segment now called Spooky Schemes. I love the animation work right there.
That's awesome.
We need the Halloween theme going on behind that. That's what that looked like right there. Big leg.
Yeah, we gotta do that. So in no particular order, Peyton, I'm gonna let you just show off our favorite schemes, and each of us will kind of give us just a short explanation as to why this is your favorite Halloween theme scheme. So Peyton, I'll let you decide. Oh, we're gonna start with mine. Okay.
Nice.
This is one of Elliott Sadler's old 38 paint schemes. Elliott Sadler was one of my favorites growing up. He was my favorite growing up. I always loved the M&M Halloween schemes. They've continued that with Kyle Busch, but I've always enjoyed Elliott Sadler's. I love the glowing 38 on it, and I just thought that this one was so cool. And that's a picture of my die cast. So, that's a picture of my diecast here that I actually have right here with me. I've had this for, gosh, I don't remember how many years now. Mama Seeger, if you're still watching, maybe you can remember when you guys bought that for me. But so yeah, that's my favorite spooky scheme. Peyton, who do you have next? Peyton?
We should get Jeopardy music.
We should have Jeopardy music. Taylor.
Yeah. This is mine. So I have like two favorite paint schemes, but this is the one that was most prevalent to me. My other one has to be like a Tony Stewart Peanuts Halloween Great Pumpkin paint schemes. I just love that one. But this one, because Kevin Harvick has had fire paint schemes all the time this year. They've all been great. From Busch Apple to anything else, like Mobile One, fantastic. But this one, especially this year, stood out to me to be the best. The colors are just beautiful. Love the Busch font. It's classy, it's creepy, it's fun. So that's my favorite.
Very good pick. Very good pick.
Oh, that's good.
Logan, an old Corey LaJoie scheme.
Look, I'm all about stacking pennies. You guys are paying attention to the big companies and the big sponsors. Let's give a little love to Corey LaJoie and, frankly, R.I.P. Go Fast Motorsports. They were fantastic and easy to root for. Corey LaJoie is the ultimate underdog. And look at this scheme. It's nice, it's simple, it's spooky. It doesn't do too much. It's not too crazy. I mean, it's not like someone's Pennywise on a podcast or something. So I just love the simplicity of it. Plus, I think Corey LaJoie is an easy guy to root for. I think we all pretty much agree on that. So I love the simplicity of this, and it's just nice. It gets the job done, but it's not too crazy, and it's just spooky enough.
Yeah, absolutely. Great paint scheme pick. Zach, that leaves you.
Yeah, I don't know if Peyton got a picture of mine, but I have my die cast. It is
Yes. Oh
the
my God.
2019. I joined Logan in the sentiments of Go Fast. Listen, there are two teams that I think of when I think of Halloween. It is Go Fast Racing, and it is DGM and the Xfinity Series, the 92, the 36. They ran all Halloween schemes, but there is nothing better than a classic Scooby-Doo, in my opinion. The car looks exactly like the Mystery Machine. The font of the 32 is a Mystery Machine font, Shaggy and Scooby on the hood. I think it's perfect. Just absolutely, they nailed it. And if I'm remembering this race properly, I believe Corey gave this particular car a better ride than most gave that 32 car. So kudos to that as well.
It brings you back to that paint scheme brings me back to my childhood of watching Scooby-Doo back in the day.
Yeah, it was a tough one. Taylor mentioned it, the Peanuts ones. There's two with Tony Stewart.
Mm-hmm.
And I have those as well, but I tell you, I don't know. I was a little more Scooby-Doo growing up. So that is why I am sticking with old cousin Corey.
Look, I'm still trying to figure out how to make a sandwich like old Scooby and Shaggy. I mean, those were some big league sandwiches. What do you say we all, me, you, Peyton, everybody, let's get this thing done. After this is done, we're getting in the Mystery Machine. We're eating some serious sandwiches.
Serious sandwiches. Let's do it.
2005.
2005. That was I know I'd had that
Dang.
for quite a while. Thank you, Mama, for remembering that for
Wow.
me.
One time, Dan and I agree on stuff. Scooby Doo and DGM.
Look, I'm surprised that you and Logan agreed on the Corey LaJoy 32.
Oh, yeah.
So
Hey, blind squirrel brother finds a nut every now and again.
Logan
It's
and I
got-
rarely agree, but Corey LaJoy is an intersecting point of our interest.
Any man that puts his face on a car and can throw a football like that,
Oh, yeah.
God
Yeah.
bless him.
Winner.
Absolutely, no question about it.
Is this Halloween or is this like April Fool's Day? Because like you guys, I'm pretty sure that you guys agreeing on anything is a very
Just give it time. Just give it time.
Yeah, give it like
Yeah.
5 minutes.
like
We'll
five-
get this
yeah.
stuff up.
Yeah.
5
we'll
minutes.
give it a few minutes there. Well, everybody, let us know down in the comments what your favorite Halloween paint schemes are. I always love that, kind of the end of the season is around Halloween. We get these cool paint schemes. I don't like that we don't get any. I mean, I love that the drivers get the off season around the holidays, but I wish we could get some more Christmas paint schemes because I think that teams could go all out with that. We've had a few in the past, but
Brad K
No.
did it best recently. Those ugly sweater Miller Lite
Oh,
cars.
gosh. Yeah.
Chef's kiss.
I
I
feel like
want
we should
the
do-
2019 one because I'm not a fan of those Ford Fusion bodies. But
Okay.
if anybody wants to buy me anything for Christmas or send it my way, if you'd like to come in my DMs, any sort of social media you'd like to use, or you can ask Justin for my personal phone number.
Oh,
You can send me that Brad Keselowski car. I'm not a Brad fan, but I am a fan of ugly Christmas sweaters.
one of these days, Zach, this show is going to get big, and when that day comes, people are going to come back to this episode and they're going to start DMing me for your phone number. They're not even
Give it
going to
to
be. They're
Give it
not
to 'em.
even. They're not even going to be asking for mine. They're going to be looking for yours. Yeah, Brian.
Just give it time, Ryan. I promise I'm still in here. Just give it time.
Even our audience knows how fired up these two can get, so it's very entertaining. But thank you all for sharing your spooky schemes with us. Again, for those of you watching, let us know down in the comments your favorite schemes. But before we get into our debate segment for the night, we do have a few feel goods to get through. So Peyton, if you'll pop up a feel goods for us.
nice.
Oh, look at that, 4 fresh ones.
We love 4 fresh feel goods, and we've got one really big feel good story that I want to get through. So we're going to read through these news stories pretty quick because we've got some other stuff to get through. But first and foremost, Alex Bowman is returning to the car at Phoenix at his home track. He's going to be there for the final race for Greg Ives, his crew chief. So that'll be really cool. It's really good. Alex Bowman and Kurt Busch were actually at Martinsville this past weekend. Alex Bowman is going to be returning at his hometown track for the final race of the season. So that right there is probably the best feel good we could get. It's always great to see a driver returning from injury. So it's really cool to see Alex Bowman come back at Phoenix. A little bit of Truck Series news. David Gilliland Racing is rebranding as Tricon Garage as a part of their rebrand to Toyota. They're swapping back to Toyota. Corey Heim, Tanner Gray, and Taylor Gray, all 3 are going to be driving full-time. Taylor Gray is going to miss a few before he turns 18, but they will all be running for championship for Tricon, and they will be running a 4th full-time entry as a kind of a filler seat, part-time. It's going to be a full-time truck, but part-time drivers. So really cool to see that. They had a really big announcement. Like it was one of the bigger Truck Series announcements I've ever seen. So really cool for them to get through that. SHR has lost its appeal for the Cole Custer incident. They had appealed after the Charlotte Roval. They did lose that appeal. There are no repave plans for North Wilkesboro for the All-Star race in 2023, as well as a Truck Series points race in 2023. They are not planning to repave that. We talked last week how they had $14 million approved for the renovations. And finally, for our last little piece of feel goods, Austin Hill is going to run 6 races next season in the number 62 for Beard Motorsports. That was Noah Gregson's seat somewhat for this season, but with Gregson going to Petty GMS full time, Austin Hill is going to drive the 62, starting at the Daytona 500. So cool for Austin Hill to get some cup time. Well, lady, gentlemen, we've made it. It's like I said last week. It's like if you've ever gone to Disney World and you ride Splash Mountain, you're climbing up and we're just getting ready to dive right into it. We've got a wonderful debate segment here for you guys, and Taylor, just to give you a little bit of an idea here. You're going to help me judge this competition as our special guest. Okay. I'm going to give Logan and Zach a debate topic here. And I always worry that they're going to agree, but we've never gotten to a point where they've actually agreed on anything. So,
all right.
So we're going to decide for our audience. We're hearing this debate for the first time. And we're going to decide who we think is going to be a winner. So with that being said, Peyton, it is time for us to get scuffed up. There we go. So our debate, we talked about it a little bit. We kind of brushed up against it. Zach, Logan, this is what I'm going to propose to you guys. We all saw Ross Chastain's move. We all have differing opinions on it.
Damn right we do.
Whether you agree with the move or not, and I guess this is going to go into that a little bit, but my question to you guys is, despite what Ross Chastain did, should NASCAR develop a new rule necessarily to prohibit those types of moves in the future? And that's going to be our debate segment tonight. Should NASCAR allow it to continue, or should they develop some sort of a rule to police it in the future? And with that, Taylor, you and I are going to come off screen and we're going to let these guys go at it. Here's our scoreboard. Zach's up 3-2 on these debates. Yeah.
All right.
So we will see you guys in a few minutes, and we're going to let you guys have the floor. Zach, I'm going to start with you since you're the defending debate winner here.
Logan.
Hey, buddy. How
are you, my friend? Listen, folks.
Let's do this then.
Listen, there is a reason why this was called a video game move, and it's because it's only going to work and should only be reserved for the virtual world, my friends. In the future, this needs to be outlawed within the sport. This is opening a can of worms in a Pandora's box that NASCAR cannot let itself get into. And it can be a really black and white rule. It is as simple as, if you use the wall to advance your position, it is a penalty. It is the exact same thing as the double yellow line rule, which I understand is not everybody's favorite rule. But I ask you this, fellow listeners. What happens if we see this next week at Phoenix and it crowns a champion? Is this really the thing that we want? And to the people that love this move, which I don't, but if you love it and you love Ross Chastain for doing it, and if you especially hate Denny Hamlin or hate myself and love that Ross Chastain did it to Denny Hamlin and I, then I suggest you join me in this movement to save the specialness of that moment. This is all fun and games. until it happens every time we go to Martinsville for a cutoff race, until every time we go to Phoenix. I imagine most flat ovals this would work at. It could work possibly at New Hampshire. It could work at Gateway, possibly Richmond. Obviously Phoenix. I mean, any track where the start-finish line is A, close to the exit of turn 4, or B, a flat oval where you can carry momentum like that is going to be a problem. But I scoot over the most narrowest of room to give Logan a chance.
I greatly appreciate you giving me the floor. My God, don't I look gorgeous? Anywho, no, they shouldn't make a rule. Come on, Zach, why do we need a rule every time something cool happens? Let's just look at it. It got mainstream press, mainstream attention, and let's be honest, NASCAR would be hypocrites if they made a rule, because one thing we're not factoring enough here is this is what NASCAR wants. We crave Game 7 moments. You want people to have the testicular fortitude and gumption to literally give everything you got short of life and limb to make the championship 4. And Ross Chastain did that. And the drivers that are pissed off about it are just mad they never took the chance. Now, as far as this becoming some sort of regular trend, I don't think that will be the case. I think it's possible in cutoff races that it could become the case, and that's where it's necessary to do it. But the reality is most guys and most teams aren't going to greenlight, hey, I want you to go ahead and just completely muck up this car if it comes to it. Most teams aren't going to do that. Frankly, Trackhouse is one of the few of their kind of trophy hunting. At the end of the day, they don't care about what kind of money we might lose if we got to repair the car and things like that. At the end of the day, the whole system is you do everything you can do to get into the championship 4. There's no rule against it. There shouldn't be a rule against it. The reality is he outsmarted everybody, and it provided us one of the greatest moments in NASCAR history. Next year is the 75th anniversary of NASCAR. Looking forward to seeing all the Richard Petty tributes that are going to come. And we've got a moment here that we're going to talk about the next 75 years. Why would we want to cheapen that with some sort of rule? Everybody thinks that Dale is great for the pass in the grass, or he's hanging out and he's wiping off the windshield or everything like that. Why would we want to cheapen that with a rule? This whole sport is about pushing it to the limit, and this whole system is about pushing it to the limit to do anything you can to get to the Final 4. We saw Kevin Harvick do everything he could to wreck Kyle Busch a few years ago. That's the way this system is. So either change the system or let this thing go. You can't have both. You can't have both. You can't tell drivers, here's the cake, don't touch it. No, you have created this. This is on NASCAR. If it's a quote-unquote bad thing, and it's not, you want to know why? It's gotten the mainstream talking. And NASCAR needs more press. So NASCAR created this system where you do everything you can to get to the championship 4. And then once someone does everything they can that isn't illegal, we got to make a rule. I mean, you talk about pouting. Well, he figured it out, so the rest of us can't have it. That's just ridiculous. No, in this case, if the whole goal is to give it everything you got to go to the championship, give it everything you got and bust your ass. That's the name of this sport. That's what the championship means. And we all should respect the gumption and testicular fortitude, whether we like Ross Chastain or don't, that he thought of it and said, how many points you out? About 2? I'm going to find a way to get it. That is incredible. We're going to talk about it for the next several decades. We don't need a rule to cheapen the moment. Either change the system or leave it alone. And I prefer that we leave it alone, because if you make a rule that says you can't do this, then stop telling me you want Game 7 moments, because you just got the greatest Game 7 moment you could ever get. And then you want to make a rule? Hypocrisy, thy name would be NASCAR. I yield to you, sir.
Logan, I was the one on the show last week talking about the sport naturally will have, Game 7 moments. Ryan, you are right. You are right. Joey Logano, Ryan's favorite, Joey Logano, made the point. He is 1 inch away from the gate being a problem, and yeah, sure, it's the closest thing. And I, quite frankly, this is a great one-time thing. It was a great jaw-dropping moment. But when we sit 5 years from now, and this is the 18th time we've seen it, is it going to hit the same? No, it's not. They never do.
Well, sure.
It'll never hit the same. It'll never hit the same. And it's a gimmick. It's a gimmick just like everything else about the playoffs is a gimmick. And, if NASCAR doesn't want to regulate these sort of things, then this is the day that NASCAR has officially turned from sport to entertainment.
Every sport is entertainment.
No.
Yes.
The other sports. This is the moment where.
Tell me the last time the NFL made a rule to help out the defense. It hasn't happened in decades.
No, but this is about the integrity of the sport. This is where you start losing integrity. Oh, Logan, anybody could have done it. Anybody could have driven headfirst into that wall.
Sure.
This does not take talent.
Hold on.
Does not take anything other than, a few one bit of blind faith, and kudos to Ross for having it.
Yeah.
And whatever. And you may say that myself and Kyle Larson, the defending champion of the sport, might I remind you, are sour grapes about it. But Larson said it best. If this continues, it's embarrassing. And it is a health issue to the sport. It is a health issue to the sport.
Tried to do it himself. Yes, it's embarrassing, but I would also do it. That makes a whole lot of sense.
He condemned himself for doing it in the post race. He said it was embarrassing when he did it.
But when push comes to shove, he would do it again because you do everything you can for the championship.
No, Dan. The integrity is not in what to do to make it to the next round of the playoffs. The integrity is in the crowning of the champion.
But it doesn't hurt the integrity because the only person that Ross Chastain took a chance on hurting was himself.
It's a gimmick. It's a gimmick and it's a joke.
But the integrity would be if I'm involving other people, which is why I'm very much against the people that say, "Well, don't pass him," and teams that mess with the field.
Oh my goodness!
Because the only person Ross Chastain wrecked was himself. He literally didn't affect another car.
Okay, but once again, this is an aha moment. This is a wow moment for the one time. I'm telling you, when you see it the second, third, fourth, fifth, 100th, 200th time, it's not good. It's just it loses its luster.
Well, sure.
Logan, the way you preserve the moment is by simply allowing it to be a one-time thing.
No, that's not how.
That is how you do it. The
moment is going to be preserved no matter what. Just like Bubba's shove, it's going to be in NASCAR's NBC video package next week.
Yeah, it should be in the video package. It should be in a selling point for NASCAR.
But the idea is this. Hold on. What would your take be if he? Then I would feel differently because then he would have affected the race horribly. But if you're only going to hurt yourself,
he a mere inches away from wrecking Brad Keselowski, from wrecking Denny Hamlin. God knows who else if he comes off the corner differently.
Yeah, if
one day listen. Ross Chastain's move worked because he has just enough talent and just enough, whatever you want to call it, stones, carelessness,
testicular fortitude,
without fear, brain damage, whatever. Whatever you think whatever you think. I think he races with no consequences. That's how I think Ross Chastain races. And this is evidence of that.
There was once a man named Dale Earnhardt Sr. who would literally probably have done the same thing, and he is godlike in this sport.
Dale didn't do it, though. You said would have, but he never did.
Well,
Dale had plenty of opportunities to do it.
The pass in the grass is not exactly the cleanest move. I just meant to rattle his cage is not the cleanest move. Giving Kurt Busch the finger on his fateful final day is not the cleanest move. But yet Dale Sr. is godlike.
Right. It is a last-ditch effort, but if this continues to happen, if this happens this weekend in Phoenix, how are you going to feel about it?
I'm going to say that the system
it's all great because you won the championship. All right, fine. If this is the direction the sport wants to go and you want the sport to go, that's fine. Everybody runs the wall. Nobody use the rest of the track. We might as well go ahead and make it one groove on the wall, see who can slingshot around the fastest. We'll just run one lane every week. That's fine. That's fine. Let's go ahead and be more like F1 where we can't pass anybody. Fantastic.
First of all, let's not play bad journalism here. Don't take me out of context. I said NASCAR needs to pick one. If the system is going to be this way, then you better not create a rule that condemns the thing you want, that has gotten your sport more press than probably the Bubba Wallace debacle in Talladega. Pick one. Either they get this kind of press because they want Game 7 moments, or they make a rule. You can't have both. If we're going to make a rule condemning one of the coolest moments in the 75 years of this sport, then go back to the old system. You can't have.
No,
both.
you're not condemning. You're not condemning it, Logan. You're preventing it. You're creating the sanctity of the moment.
That's like people saying, "Well, don't go play quarterback because you might get hurt." That means you might.
No,
get hurt.
no, Logan. This is like This is like
hey.
putting it in the museum. This is like putting it in the Hall of Fame,
might.
Logan. This is like if you sit here and create rules to where everybody does it. The reason why the pass in the grass is special is because nobody else could do it. Other people have tried and they couldn't pass in the grass. Not everybody else can pass on the wall, okay? Exactly. And that's fine.
So let's separate the men from the boys when this system calls for it. Because if you think people are going to have the gall to do it all year long, sorry, owners are too cheap and too tight to be greenlighting that. They'll be cracking down unless it comes to this situation.
Dan, you're wrong. It was not the most exciting finish to a race this season.
I don't even
There
know
were plenty of great races throughout this season that had great finishes. The 500 was great this year. The Coke 600 had a fantastic finish. I mean, quite frankly, there are several other races. I thought the Bristol night race had a good finish. The dirt race at Bristol had a good finish, even though I don't like it.
This race was saved by this move because you talked about...
This race was not. This race was fine without that moment.
This race was a great cure for insomnia. You're out of your skull piece.
This race was fine.
All right, you guys have...
We want greatness. Greatness.
This has been. I told you, Taylor, before the show. If you thought Zach and I were entertaining, just put these two together, and it's a very interesting.
There you go, Ryan. There you go. It's the victim of the crime. It's the victim of the crime.
Oh, Zach.
Listen, Denny Hamlin is the only driver in the world besides Kyle Busch that gets booed in his home state. Denny Hamlin gets absolutely robbed of a playoff spot, and the fans are openly booing him. Ryan is correct. If this is Chase Elliott, if this is a driver, I'm not saying it wasn't an exciting finish, but it is not the best finish of this season. There are plenty of other finishes with a little more class.
Zach, you're digging yourself a hole that you can't get out of.
I'm climbing the hole.
Well, we have one thing I'm enjoying is actually there's a bit of a split decision amongst the comment section as well in this. Ryan seems to be on.
Yes, he was robbed, Dan. He was robbed.
What rule was broken?
Yeah, he probably does. He probably gets booed by his own children.
Oh,
that's correct, Ryan.
So, Zach, Zach, Logan, you both made some pretty good points. I saw both sides of your arguments, but Taylor, I want your opinions on this, and you're ultimately going to pick our debate winner here. So what say you about this debate?
Okay, so I mentioned earlier that I probably want to make a rule on this. When Zach started talking, Zach, I was on your side, and then you kept talking, and then you dug yourself a hole. And the part of the hole that I was like, okay, this is where I flip sides and probably go to Logan's side here, is you talked about the most exciting finishes this season. Bristol Dirt involved a wreck, someone going for a win. Kyle Busch gets the win after Briscoe and Reddick take each other out. Daytona 500, there was a wreck at the end of that. Cindric wins. 600, the Coca-Cola 600 came into overtime. Wrecks. I was there at that race. It was a fantastic race. Ended with some wrecks, and that was an exciting race, you said. I know that doesn't necessarily mean, though, that this move is okay or that it's fair. However, it did produce excitement. I would agree with Logan in saying that that's kind of what the sport needs. And again, also with Dale Sr., I would have to say he made some moves that go down in the history books as legendary. Nobody else will do it because nobody has the gutso to do that. So I got to give this one to Logan, I think.
About that. Justin, we can have her back every week. Great move.
I was on board with you, Zach, for a little bit.
I mean, I stand by my argument. I mean, I didn't say it wasn't an exciting race. It was exciting, and it left a shock. And in the one-time moment, it is a good thing for the sport, okay? In this singular moment, it is good.
I do agree with you. If it happens at Phoenix and continues to happen, then we have to look back at it and be like, maybe not. But for now, in this moment, we haven't reached that point.
Right, and that was my argument, is if it happens again, or if this happens every year, then it becomes a problem.
Then change the system, because you can't preach Game 7 and then we don't like that you did all
It's
you
valid.
could to make a rule.
That's valid.
I think as I was watching this debate, and Logan, congratulations, you have our guest as on your side.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna pop my fluff right here. Oh yeah, look at that.
I saw both sides of the argument. I want to say that I think you have to, in this scenario, you have to deviate the difference between, like, Ryan, to your point, are we really going to say, okay, are we going to say that, okay, let's be honest here. Do we really think Ross Chastain would have made the move if there was somebody else up there? There was no one up there. Chastain knew that. He knew that there was nobody up there. He knew that the only person he was potentially endangering was himself.
No, Justin. I think if Brad Keselowski blocks this move at the line, or if Denny Hamlin is able to, right, if he's not underneath Brad Keselowski and Denny Hamlin blocks this move at the line, and then we're talking about drivers getting rear-ended at 130, 120 miles per hour, and we saw the crying that Eric Jones did after Ty Gibbs hit him under caution at Texas. So this is a valid safety concern, and I understand it's ifs and everything, but if there's things we're going to take away from the 2022 season, it's that safety is still important, and safety has regressed. So therefore, in this argument, safety is a valid point.
Look, you can go back through every episode we've had so far. I have never gone against the side of safety. However, Ross Chastain knew what he was doing. Mm-hmm. He knew what he had.
He knew the risk.
He knew what he was doing. The only person he was endangering in that, and you can throw out the if you want, but I think that's a poor argument to throw out an if. I think having this is Chastain is a Cup Series driver. Yes, he's aggressive. Yes, he's going to leave it all out on the line. But he's not, in my opinion, he's not in the Cup Series by being completely stupid. He knew what he was doing. And he knew that the risk was only going to be for himself. And it was one of those that I don't even think he knew if it was going to work. I think it was one of those, this is the last chance we got, and you're going, and in the moment, you have to deviate between the driver and the sport, because, you can talk about what's good for the sport, but Ross Chastain was thinking about what's good for the driver. What's good for this one team? How do we get this one team into the championship? And I think, he saw an opening. It was wide open at the top, and he saw his chance and he went for it. So, safety is always a valid concern. I'm never going to say safety is not a valid concern, but I think in this instance, Ross knew what he was doing and he knew the risk. So with that, congratulations, Logan. A Halloween special debate win. And with that, we're going to get into our next segment. We're getting ready to preview for the championship. We're getting ready to go into our final race of the season. I don't know about you guys, but it's always a bittersweet moment because I love seeing a champion get crowned, but I always hate that the season's coming to an end. But nonetheless, before we get into that, our team statistician, Mike Daffner, has brought back an old segment from the past. And he's broken down the stats and kind of given his potential favorite for this championship going forward. So he made us a little video clip. And Peyton, if you don't mind playing it for us, we're going to have us a little segment of DAF stats.
Good evening, folks. Mike Daffner here for Runnin on Scuffs to bring you an edition of DAF Stats. So heading into the Championship 4, we saw an incredible move by Ross Chastain to get into the Final Four. And I just wanted to take a look at their stats at Phoenix for a second. And to be honest with you, when it comes to this track, I feel like we got to go with Chase Elliott to win the championship. I mean, he has the highest average starting position and highest average finish of any of the drivers at Phoenix. He's got an average start of 5.6 and an average finish of 10.7. And in 13 career races, he's only finished outside the top 10 5 times. He's also led the most laps on the season, and he has 165 laps led more than Ross Chastain, who's second. Can't discount Ross Chastain for the possibility of, after seeing what he just pulled at Martinsville, but yeah, Chase Elliott's my pick to win the championship based on the numbers.
And the numbers are how he does it. He's going with Chase Elliott to win the championship. It's hard to dispute. He was the first driver to win a championship at Phoenix, and he could potentially repeat or go not back to back, but 2 for 3. So with that being said, we have 3 championships to crown this weekend. And we're going to give our picks for those right now with our race preview. Peyton, if you'll hit us with a race preview. Thank you. This is it. Ladies and gentlemen, it all comes down to this. We've watched a full season of racing. It's been controversial. It's been exciting. It's been crazy. But it all comes down to this. We have a Truck Series, Xfinity Series, and a Cup Series champion to crown. And I'm going to put all of you on the spot because I'm going to make you give me your picks right now for the championship. Taylor, you're our special guest, so I'm going to start with you. Give us your championship picks for this weekend.
So all 3 all at once, correct?
Yeah, all 3. Just what all you. If you want to explain them a little bit, you can. Just so Zach doesn't come at you with telling you why you're wrong.
I feel like call it to Zach, by the way, man. But I feel as if we have to expect the unexpected, hence a little bit of last year. But I gotta say for truck, I'm from Ohio. Someone from Thorsport would be kind of cool to have win. Though, however, I'm probably gonna go with Chandler Smith for truck. It's just a feeling I have. I cannot explain it. For Xfinity, Noah Gragson is the easy favorite, right? I would love to see him get a championship, so I'm going to stick with him. And then for Cup, that's where it gets tricky. Denny Hamlin, Zach, he was my championship pick. However, I'm going to go with, I was looking over the stats. I feel like I'm going to have to go with Logano on this one. I don't know why. It's an even number year, 22 and 22. I feel like it would happen. Elliott had a great stage 1 and stage 2 at Phoenix in the spring. However, he finished 11th. Logano had like a pretty solid day, finished 8th. It was okay in the spring. Chastain finished 2nd. However, he didn't have the best start to the day. Bell, horrible at Phoenix in the spring. I would love to see him win a championship, but after what happened in the spring, I'm not sure if that's possible, but I'm going to go with Logano. Just going to do it. 22 and 22.
Great picks right there. Logan, you won our debate for the night, so I'm going to let you follow that up. You think you're ready for it?
Sure. I think great picks are a lot like beauty. It's eye of the beholder, and I'm not seeing it in those picks. But that's okay. It's all right. You're entitled to it. Look, for the trucks, momentum is king. I told that to Zach a few weeks ago, so I'm going to put my money where my mouth is. Ty Majeski is going to get it done. Momentum is king. And obviously he's getting hot at the right time. Like we talked about the NCAA tournament, right? Get hot at the right time. You never know what happens. He's going to win it all. When it comes to the Xfinity Series, look, I think there's going to be a big old bunch of puke in that beautiful trophy. Noah Gregson's going to get it done. And then, he's going to puke in the trophy this year, and then he's going to puke in the King's hat next year. It's going to be a great side-by-side photo here on Runnin on Scuffs next year. And then, look, don't overthink it when it comes to the big boys on Sunday. He's Clutch Clyde, old William Clyde himself, most popular driver, the greatest driver walking God's earth, according to Zach Bell. I'm talking about Chase Elliott, of course. He's going to surpass his dear old daddy, and he's going to get championship number 2. The reality is his numbers at Phoenix have always been incredible. He's got something figured out. We all know that Mr. H knows how to bring it when it comes time for a championship case, and William Byron is no longer in this opportunity. So you know what we can do? we can put all the eggs in the Golden Boy basket, and so I think he'll get it done. So those are my three. I'll take Ty, Noah, and old clutch William Clyde himself, Chase Elliott, going to get it done for number 2.
Ryan didn't seem to be too happy about that pick, Logan, but you know
I don't wake up caring what he thinks. That's all right. Ryan, I love you anyway.
Zach, what say you? We've got 3 championships to hand out this weekend. Who's going to take them home?
I have been singing the praises of Chandler Smith quite recently on this podcast. Logan likes to call it momentum. I like to look at relevant statistics. Fantastic at Richmond this year. Fantastic at Indy.
Anything's irrelevant if you try hard enough.
I am rocking with Chandler Smith. He's the defending winner of this race in the Truck Series. Going into the Xfinity Series, I have been laying the foundation for this pick. Admittedly, I did not know who exactly was going to steal my heart. However, I talked about last week. The trend shown in the Xfinity Series, the dominant driver does not walk away with the championship. Go ask Chase Briscoe in 2020. Go ask Austin Cindric in 2021. And I leave you this. Ryan said it. I'm taking Josh Berry. It's a feel-good story, but this Phoenix is relatively a short track.
Respect.
Dale Jr. has put all of his eggs in this guy's basket. I trust Dale, and raise hell, praise Dale. So I'm taking Josh Berry to do it. And Logan, I do believe in some momentum. And you're talking about Clutch Klein. Logan, the guy who's won his way into the next round, the last 2 rounds. Are you kidding me? Nobody is more clutch than Christopher Bell right now.
I like your picks.
Ice in his veins, fueled by all of the angst of his, aged Toyota teammates. Maybe this weekend was a passing of the torch from one Kyle Busch and Denny Hamlin to young Christopher. Hopefully not to Ty Gibbs, but I leave you with Christopher Bell as my pick. I know he struggled there in the spring, but you know what other track he struggled in the spring? Martinsville, folks. He struggled at Martinsville, and you know what he just did? He just won Martinsville. He has a wonderful crew chief in Adam Stevens, 2-time champion with Kyle Busch. 20. I'm putting my money where my mouth was at the beginning of this podcast, way back in September when Bell was going to make the championship 4. He didn't get there the way I thought he would, but he's there nonetheless.
Valid picks from all 3 of you. I'm gonna have to deliver some of my own. For the Truck Series, Zach, I appreciate your pick of Chandler Smith. I like Chandler Smith. He's been growing on me. But you talk about the defending race winner. What about the defending champion of the Truck Series? I'm going to have to go with Ben Rhodes as the Truck Series pick. You think that party was so crazy after he won the first Mamma Jamba? What about the second one? I know I totally botched that as far as that saying goes. But yeah, he won the first one. Can you imagine the party after he wins his second one? 2 in a row. Let's get the party going for Ben Rhodes. So I'm going to pick him for the Truck Series Championship. For the Xfinity Series Championship, talk about feel-good stories. I like Josh Berry, but I'm going to have to go with the guy who's finally going to get a championship. I thought with them moving the championship race to Phoenix, he was going to get it a few years ago. But I'm going to go with Justin Allgaier. He finally gets a championship in the Xfinity Series at a track that he's performed at so well in the past. I'm going to go with Allgaier to get it done in Xfinity. And Cup, I called it in the playoff predictions show. The first show we did, I called it, and he's made it to the Final 4. I'm going to have to agree with you, Taylor. Joey Logano gets it done. He gets his second championship, 22 in 22.
Let's go.
He started with a win at the Clash, and I think he's going to finish the season out with a championship in Phoenix. So with that being said, Tennessee boy Josh Berry for Xfinity. Zach, you got some love from Mama Ciga there for Xfinity.
That's right. Ryan, I know you're talking about Josh Berry and not Joey Logano, and that's okay.
I love Josh Berry. I'd love to see him get a win. It would be a feel good story.
Mhm.
I just think Justin Allgaier finally gets it done for Xfinity.
Listen, if Tennessee beats Georgia on Saturday, then we know Josh Berry's winning the championship. The last time Tennessee beat a top 5 team in the country, it was Alabama. NASCAR was in Las Vegas. Josh Berry won. This is the stars are aligning here. When the Vols win, Josh Berry wins.
Mike Daffner is at you with a weird Daff stat right there.
Very interesting. Mama's going against me here. She's going for Josh Berry, but I'd love Josh Berry, but I think Justin Allgaier is going to get the win. But hey, we're going to find out this weekend. Be sure to tune into all the championship races. I'm going to have to have some double TV screens Saturday with that Tennessee Georgia game going on. It's going to be an entertaining weekend for sports. With that, we're going to wrap up our show here. As always, thank you to everybody for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe if you're watching this on YouTube. Follow our page on Facebook and Twitter, and be sure to follow us. Be sure to check out Taylor and her show Above the Yellow Line on TobyChristie.com, as well as their YouTube page. She posts great content, and she's got a great team over there, so we appreciate her being on. And we're gonna have another great show wrapping up these championship reviews after this. We've got some more picks coming in. Chandler Smith, Josh Berry, and Ross Chastain from Suzanne.
Solid.
Very good picks. So we're gonna see what unfolds this weekend. Taylor, we appreciate you being on the show. We hope to have you on again very soon. Hopefully we haven't completely scared you off with.
No, it was such a good time. It's been such a long time since Justin, Zach, and I have talked, and it was nice to meet you, Logan, and the whole team here. So thanks for having me, and I hope I'm back. So thank you, guys.
Thank you all for the love and support. We appreciate all of you for tuning in and watching. And we hope to continue these great shows for a long time. We don't ever get tired of these. So, Peyton, if you'll come back up, we'll get your final thoughts, and we'll get everybody situated. Peyton, what are your thoughts for this championship weekend?
I told you guys in our first episode that Ross Chastain was going to win it all. And you guys laughed at me and said that he wouldn't even make it to the Final Four.
It's true.
And here we are. So when he wins on Sunday, I get a prize or something.
I do believe with the 4 of us that are normally on the show, I do believe that means that all 4 of us have picked 4 different drivers to win the Cup championship. So one of us is going to be walking away happy with our picks. The other 3 not so much.
Well, for what it's worth, I tend to find out that Peyton is right a little later on. She just usually is why she's my better half. So maybe she is right this time, because she usually is.
Logan, why don't you hit us with some final thoughts here?
Well, it's great to have Taylor on the show. Thank you for coming on. Hopefully I didn't scare you too terribly. It's just a damn shame we're coming down the stretch. I don't know what I'm going to do through the holiday season. If it was up to me, NASCAR would be around 52 weeks a year, and I'm not the only guy that feels that way. Richard Petty doesn't have much to do nowadays. He would like to do that 52 weeks a year. But all kidding aside, it's been a great season. I love doing this show. Zach, I love proving you wrong each and every week, and I appreciate that you're such a good sport about it. And I look dadgum ridiculous, but still handsome. And so thank you all for watching. Thank you all for commenting. Even you, Ryan, whom I loathe and love, depending on the day and hour and moment. So thank you all for watching. Thank you for letting me be a part of it. I love you all, and there's absolutely nothing you can do about it. I'm out of here.
Well, Zach, with that, you've got some final comments, and you've got to hit us with a signature sign-off.
Yeah. First of all, of course, thank you, Taylor. We have been trading shows, way back in the early days for both of us. So quite a nice reunion. Maybe one of us can jump on yours at some point.
Absolutely.
And watch out for your local Ross Chastain impersonators. It is Halloween, folks. If you have walls anywhere near your neighborhood or your house, there's construction going on outside my neighborhood. So there is a massive wall actually about a 1-minute drive from my house. So I do live in perpetual fear that any other NASCAR fans in the near distance will be driving around with watermelons and driving by my house to give me one more scare like Ross did this weekend. But, of course, as per usual, shout out to my family, my parents, this weekend especially, comforting me through Denny Hamlin and I's ultimate loss this weekend. Of course, they mean the world. And, thanks to everybody for watching and listening. Have a wonderful and safe Halloween, however you choose to celebrate your Halloween. And, that's all I have this week.
Absolutely. Thank you, Zach. Taylor, do you have any final comments for us?
Oh gosh, just thank you for having me on the show. I appreciate it. Again, like I said, it's been a while since Justin, Zach, and I have talked before. Peyton and Logan, it was very nice to meet you both. Thank you for inviting me on to your show. I'm all over social media at _Taylor Kitchen _ on Twitter. Toby Christicom. Every social media platform, I am there. So if you want to find me, I'm there. But again, it was such a lovely time being on here, listening to the debates and everything. So thank you all so much, and everyone enjoy your championship week. And it's gonna be exciting, and I'm sure a little controversial as well.
Well, we appreciate you being on the show tonight, and we hope to do it again very soon. Everybody, happy Halloween, and we appreciate you all for spending part of your Halloween with us, and we appreciate you guys for tuning in to Running on Scuffs, and we will see you guys in the next episode for the championship review. See you guys.